Hello and welcome back to Therapy Talk with Roxanne. My name is Roxanne, and as always, it is my utmost joy and pleasure to be able to welcome you to this, your space. So, today we're talking about labels, and let me be really frank with you. Oftentimes, I receive all of this plethora of documentation, whether it be from the psychiatrist, from Tropical, from another provider, from the hospital, you name it. And as I'm reading this information, I begin to realize that this client is already coming in with a ton of different labels. And I'm going to name a few just to see if any of them resonate. Major depressive disorder, mild, recurrent, oppositional defiance disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar, type 1, bipolar type 2, you name it. Label, label, label. I have clients who come in and who, without realizing it, when I ask them, who are you? One of my very first questions in the therapeutic relationship is to ask, who are you? What makes you you? What I hear from them is, I have major depressive disorder, I have an eating disorder, I am anxious, God, so many thoughts that run through my head. When I ask a simple question of who are you, what they respond with is, what's the matter with you? And what labels have you been attributed that can in any way help me to understand why you're here today? And here is where I like to take that mask off the label and to let my client know, you are not what the label says you are. The label simply tells me trauma happened in your life. There was an experience that was so debilitating to your spirit and to your soul that created within you this need to protect yourself, and you learn to protect yourself so well. And one of the ways in which you learn to protect yourself is through a label. Because if people can understand that you have quote unquote generalized anxiety disorder, and that's a reason why you stay away from people, that's the reason why you isolate, that's the reason why you don't trust, then people begin to accept you for your quote unquote limitations. But that is because you don't know how to be vulnerable with yourself so that others can see through you, not through the mask that you place before them, so that they can feel safe, and in the meantime you can leave yourself unprotected. Another funny thing about labels, and I'm using the word funny in a very minimalistic way. There's nothing funny about it. But another thing about labels is that many times as a child, you were labeled. You're so stupid. You're so incompetent. You're so dumb. You're not worthy. You're not worth anything. You're never going to be as good as such and such. And those individuals around you, many of whom you were supposed to trust, ended up placing this label on you, that later on when you go to that professional in your own life, the psychiatrist, the therapist, the physician, whoever it may be, they simply end up professionally placing a label on you, so that as a matter of fact, you can appreciate the fact that all along you've been messed up. And here's where I caution you. You get to determine the labels that you remove and the labels that you place upon yourself. You get to say, I am worthy. I am good enough. Not only am I good enough, I'm more than good enough. I am whole. I am healed. I am healing. I am a survivor. I am a thriver. I am perseverant. I am who God says that I am. And if you can embrace the label of I am who God says that I am, every single label that has been prior placed on you will come down. So God help me. So I share this with you today because trauma is real. It will leave you with so many labels. But at the same time, healing, just as this book says, healing is your responsibility. And removing those labels and placing new ones upon yourself is your commitment to your own journey. I pray that this will in any way help you to help yourself. I pray blessings over you. I remind you, trauma is real, like I said, but so is healing. My name is Roxanne, and as always, I invite you because you have a space in this place.